The next two slides provide an example of indicators that were selected by a Masters of Public Health class for a community health profile that class developed. Each student developed a profile in the class, but a core set of indicators was developed that all students included in their community health profile. On the left-hand side of this slide is the Institute of Medicine's recommended core indicators for a community health profile, which were described in a previous set of slides. As mentioned before, these indicators are divided into 6 different categories. The indicators that are highlighted here in red are ones selected by the students for their community health profile as core indicators. You can see that they did not pick all of the indicators. They picked several from the socio-demographic, health status, and health risk factors categories, and one from the functional status. They decided not to pick any from the healthcare resource consumption category or quality of life. Now, you'll see in the right-hand side here a little bit more specific. They had to be a bit more specific when they picked their indicators so that we could actually look up data for them. Age and race ethnicity distribution is what they picked for the first one. They selected for education the educational attainment, and in particular they looked at completion of high school rates. For income, employment, and poverty, they selected the unemployment rate for a given community and the household median income. And for health insurance, they looked at the percent of people with health insurance. Under health status, for mortality, for the mortality area, they selected age-adjusted mortality rate and age-adjusted death rates for specific causes, and in particular they selected heart disease, stroke, cancer, unintentional injuries, and motor vehicle injuries as their specific causes of interest. They also selected the prevalence of diabetes and births to adolescence as specific indicators. In the health risk factor area, they picked adult smoking as an indicator and both adolescent and adult obesity. And finally, they selected the self-reported health status indicator. In addition to those core indicators, this gives you an example of indicators selected by some students for their communities because they were interested in some additional indicators beyond what the core indicators were. Again, this is just to give an idea of the kind of indicators that were selected in those for those community health profiles. Some socio-demographic single-parent families, for example, was one picked, as well as the size of the homeless population in the community. One of the students was interested in years of potential life lost, pedestrian injuries as an indicator of safety of roads. Prevalence of lead poisoning was of interest to one student because of older housing stock located in their community and the presence of potential for childhood lead poisoning. Other students were interested in access to healthy foods and access to various kinds of recreational physical areas like playing fields and conservation areas. And finally, there was a student interested in a measure of quality of life, which was satisfaction with health care and well-being.